Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the Mindset Check podcast. I'm your host, Misha McKittrick. This is a podcast where I believe that as you take time for a mindset check, you have more power than you think you do. And where we also believe that gratitude is one of the most potent fuels for your life. I'm thrilled to be dropping in and talking to you about gratitude today and how this feeling will completely alter your holiday season. Like, completely alter it. But I'm really also excited because you know that I've been preparing for today, and I'm so excited to tell you that the Gratitude Meditation Collection is ready. The Cultivate a Heart of Gratitude Meditation Collection. This meditation collection has 8 meditations that help you drop into the feeling of gratitude. And we talk about in this podcast coming up why the feeling of gratitude is so important. These meditations walk you through everything from feeling simple gratitude to writing and feeling gratitude, dropping in and feeling gratitude for a mentor in your life, helping you direct your gratitude, like having it happen outside of you. Also, we have a meditation that's called Exchange Lack for Plenty. Literally so excited for that one because we all hit states where we seem to be focusing more on the lack, right? And so that's a good one that helps you pull out of that. And then we have a couple of them that really help you, like the Appreciating Your Life one really helps you look back at your life and really appreciate the things that have brought you to the point that you're at. But there are 2 others that a lot of times when you're having a hard time generating this feeling, sometimes it helps to have gentle suggestions of how much you really have around you to drop into, to pay attention to, that will drop you into a really expansive feeling of gratitude. So there's 2 meditations. One is called Flood Your Heart with Gratitude. The other is called Dropping into Awe. And they are full of just these amazing things that most of the people that would be listening to this podcast have in their life. And you have access to that. And it's so much a part of our everyday life that sometimes we forget to even look at it. So those meditations absolutely pour over you. And then what happens is you go through your life with your heart so full and you start to see all of the amazing things that you really do have in your life. And it is a profound shift. It's so wonderful. So this meditation collection, like I said, the first week that it's available is 50% off. You guys, I'm telling you, it's literally ridiculous that you are getting these incredible, 8 incredible meditations. They range from 10 minutes to 16 minutes. There's all different times in between. And you get them all for like just above $20. That's pretty incredible. So jump on it now while the sale is happening. I'm so excited to drop into gratitude even more in this podcast episode and to really help you marinate in this incredible feeling. The link and the code that you need to find the gratitude meditations will be in the show notes. And without further ado, let's jump into the podcast. Today we're going to look at the way that gratitude is such a game changer for your life. Rumi has a quote that I love that says, "Wear gratitude like a cloak and it will feed every corner of your life." I am sitting before you, telling you from my own personal experience and from so much research that I have done that I really do think that this is true. And I'm hoping to literally breathe life into your gratitude practice. That is what my aim is during this month of November, to really help you drop in and to understand, gratitude is something that I love all year long. I feel like a lot of people are a little bit more prone to love gratitude and to really focus on gratitude, I should say, in this season of thanks. And when we really take gratitude upon us, like not even a responsibility, but a privilege, when we take upon us the idea that feeling gratitude is a privilege, not just listing gratitude. That is, I promise you, listing gratitude used to be what gratitude was for me in this season. I used to challenge my kids to write lists. And those things are really great. I still really love those things, but I'm talking more about gratitude as a feeling. Because when we feel gratitude, it actually alters our state inside in so many ways. That's what I really want to get into with you today. And there is no way that I could bring to you everything that I found. It almost felt overwhelming to try to put this podcast together because there's so much. But I decided to just focus on a couple of things, just picked out the things that were kind of the most important or my favorites. And then at the end, I'm going to share with you, my absolute favorite, why I think that gratitude is one of the most potent fuels that you can use to power your life. The first way that we're going to look at gratitude as sort of this normal emotion being a gateway to a better life is that gratitude is an antidote, right? It can pull you out of egocentric thinking, thoughts like, I want, what I need to do next, or what other people think of me, right? All of these kind of thoughts that are centered around self, right? And these are the types of thoughts that we're often having when we're in a struggle. Interesting, huh? And when we drop into gratitude, it pulls us out of that. It helps us to walk away from that. It really does improve our self-esteem and our natural pull towards comparison. It can pull us out of whatever that default mode is. So one of the basics of the things that I teach is that we can alter what our default mode is. Okay, we've seen that in the research in the heart math studies and all of this incredible business where we are adjusting our baseline or our default mode. But what's great is until you adjust that to naturally go about life in more of a peaceful, calm state, you can also do it in a temporary state. And just so you know, that always sort of applies to us. We are always really super aware of our state, and kind of when we hit a dip and being able to pull ourselves out of it, that's kind of becoming more self-aware, more aware of our internal state and being able to do that. But even in the more temporary states is where we start to gain control of what our default mode is, how we operate on a regular basis, right? So if that makes sense, the more that we tap into high feeling states, the more we alter what our default mode is. So we adjust the way that we're feeling inside on more of a regular basis each time we drop in on little moments, and we alter the way that we feel, which alters our state in that very moment. And the more that we do it, the more that it alters how we feel on a regular basis, kind of majority of the time, if that makes sense. So gratitude is very powerful in that way. And it's just a really strong antidote for if you've been having any of those feelings where, you're just kind of in the struggle. It helps lift you out of that. It's a great antidote. The next thing is that gratitude is the propeller. Okay, so if you think like a propeller of pushing you through the water, right, in a boat, pushing you forward, it activates us towards taking action. So gratitude literally inspires that. It becomes so full inside of us that we naturally take action. We reach out to pay a feeling forward, right? Acts of kindness and gratitude, they often come full circle, and they deepen our connection to others, which brings up the idea of the next one is that gratitude is the glue, right? So you can see how connected those are. When gratitude is boiling over inside of us and then we reach outside of ourselves, it also helps connect us to other people. When we express gratitude to another person, we become more connected. And practicing gratitude not only strengthens those connections, but it has a measurable effect on our brain function in the way, that it actually activates brain regions that are associated with social bonding, right? So that it's more natural for us. It's more natural for us to have an enhanced state of empathy, making it easier to form and sustain positive relationships which literally that is so brilliant when you really stop and go, oh my word, like you feel that inside when I tell you, right? But ultimately, like until it's like said in words to you, sometimes it doesn't exactly click. Gratitude is also the glue because when we do something kind for someone else, they receive it in a state of gratitude, and that gratitude forms that glue between us. It's forming a deeper bond, which is also an incredible way to look at gratitude being the glue and such an incredible force in our life. Another thing that I really love about gratitude is that it is what I call the ultimate medicine, right? All of these kind of higher feeling states, they override lower feeling states. What we see when that happens is that our brain actually produces different chemicals. When our brain produces different chemicals, we feel different. Gratitude itself impacts our brain by stimulating the production of dopamine and serotonin, right? Like feel-good chemicals, which blows my mind sometimes when we can really sit down and say, we have the opportunity, we have the ability, as long as we're in a state where we can willingly do something, right? Because sometimes we become sort of disabled in that way, and that's okay because there's other things that can help us when we get there. But as long as we can consciously make a choice to sort of check into higher feelings, right? Like gratitude, we can create a chemical balance inside of our body where we can become addicted to happy and good chemicals. And then it's like this self-perpetuating cycle. Your body goes, I'm normally used to feeling like this. And so it creates things that helps you normally feel like that, right? Because you have a chemical system that your body is dependent or used to feeling. And so your body just functions in such a beautiful way, and you can train it. You can train it the same way that you train a dog, right? The same way that you train yourself to habitually do something like working out or whatever it is. But the great thing about one of the great things that I love so much about the difference between like training yourself to do something that's really, really hard, I actually don't even feel like meditation and dropping into heart coherence, which is propelled by gratitude, right? Dropping into those things to me doesn't feel like a grueling workout. And I love to work out. Like I love the benefits that come with working out. And I actually do love that push. But there are times when you're like, ugh, you know what I mean? And meditation, yeah, there's a little bit of time that you take out during your day to do it, but it doesn't have to be long, and it feels so good. It feels like one of the better parts of your day. Like whatever your yummy drink is, or whatever, you know, if you're taking like a hot shower or kind of those rewarding parts of your day, meditation literally feels like that. And it is improving the chemicals in your internal pharmacy. Because of this, it improves your brain function, your decision-making skills, your productivity, your critical thinking. It improves your sleep. There are so many, byproducts to our health and our physical, the way that we function and, our overall well-being. It is incredible. There's this quote or this question, that's commonly posed. It says, is it really the happy people that are grateful, or is it the grateful people that are happy? Ooh, that is so yummy and juicy to sit in and say, wow, well, if I can actually train myself to feel good, I think I could train myself to feel happy by being grateful. And so gratitude really is the gas. Gratitude really is how I get there. You can have everything you need to be happy and still not be happy. I'm sure that you know of people like that, where you can, externally look at their life and go, wow. Not that we do that, right? But it is so wild. And it's really what we check into and what we create inside that creates the bliss that we feel in our life. When we become addicted to a new feeling, a new chemical, that becomes automatic. It's incredible. Another thing that I really, really love about gratitude is that it is a multiplier. It's a multiplier in two ways, sort of. The more that we have gratitude and this feeling of gratitude, the more that we experience gratitude, which we'll also touch on that a little bit more in a minute. But I love the saying that says, what you appreciate appreciates. And if you really look at the people in your life alone, like we can talk about a million other things, but when you pour appreciation into people, that literally appreciates. It grows, it gets bigger. That whole exchange between you is different. When we drop the stripped point of view that we have of another person, it changes the person. And we can actually amplify that to so many more things. I love this quote by Jen Sincero. She says, gratitude is one of the strongest and most transformative states of being. It shifts your perspective from lack to abundance and allows you to focus on the good in your life, which in turn pulls more goodness into your reality. I hope that you're starting to kind of grasp that, like, training your heart to be a heart of gratitude that naturally defaults to gratitude is vital, and it will absolutely be a game changer for your life. And this kind of leads us into the next one, which is gratitude is the magnet. When you put out a high vibrational signal, when your energy is that of like very, very high, you bring back to you high. Okay, so like when you feel great, you attract great. When you feel good things, literally think of it like a magnet. You are attracting other really good things. Joe Dispenza says, gratitude is the ultimate state of receiving. It completely opens you up to be in the highest state of receptivity, to be in allowing. And you just get to stand and welcome it into your life. The higher that you feel, the more you welcome that equals that feeling. So when you feel the feelings of gratitude, you raise that level. Does that make sense? And you have a different energy in your body, and you expose yourself to completely new possibilities. Right? Not only are you attracting them, it's like you're able to see the best scenarios as a possibility. And the pure fact that you can even see them, that changes what you're able to accomplish in your life. So really think through, feeling great creates a greater life. I was literally having a conversation yesterday with someone, and we were talking about something in their life, and we were kind of talking and dreaming about how cool it would be to have a space that accommodated what she was doing in her life, right? And that would require a different dwelling, a different house. And, you know, it's really easy to start to see your own stumbling blocks when you see them in other people. She was like, yeah, and that probably won't happen for as, long as until it would even not be necessary, right? And it was like this automatic shutdown. And then it was like another thing. Well, what would I do about all of the wonderful people that I'm around if I moved, and what would I do about, and it was like you could just so clearly see all the things that were getting in her way to not even think that it could be a possibility. And they were the thoughts that actually comforted her to continue to remain in the space that she was in. Now, whenever we see something like that happen in another person, it becomes more clear to us we're doing the same thing in certain ways. But here's the thing, one step at a time. If something by me just telling you that little story was highlighted in you, like you were like, oh, maybe I could think differently about something else in my life. How cool, because you're starting to see that the best scenario for you is a possibility. That's all. That's okay. Like more and more will come, and more will be highlighted in your life. And that's called growth. That's literally called growth. Just know, I love this quote by Rhonda Byrne. She says, gratitude will shift you to a higher frequency and you will attract much better things. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens little by little. You shift the way that you think, and then therefore all of these things that are possible for you open up. Absolutely incredible. The next thing I really love about gratitude is that gratitude is an activator. Okay, so gratitude, I kind of think of like this tool. It's an emotion that can drop us into higher emotions. It's a path toward higher feelings. Gratitude is an emotion that can drop you into heart coherence, which heart coherence is like doubles gratitude. Like feeling gratitude, when you really are feeling gratitude, just so you know, you probably are feeling heart coherence. The practice that I teach is being able to feel that on demand, sitting in it every day, and allowing that to change your life. You amplify gratitude when you're in heart coherence. But like I said, when you're really, really feeling it, like when you're really, really feeling love, when you're really, really feeling gratitude, you probably are in heart coherence, because those are the high feeling states when your heart rhythm changes and your body state inside changes, and it feels so good. You can feel that way whenever you want. So I really love to think about gratitude as an activator because it gets this there. But I think also that sometimes it's not always really accessible to just sit down and be like, I'm ready to feel love. Like when you train yourself, like you know how to get there, you know, it's a little bit easier. But I like to think of it as an activator because I feel like gratitude is a pretty easy thing to get to. We just have to start looking for things that we appreciate. Just have to start looking for, and all of the high emotion feelings we've ever felt in our life, you know, root back to us through this emotion of gratitude. Like we're so grateful we experienced that feeling of love during this time, right? And so gratitude is kind of helps us get to the places where we can feel higher emotions. And I really love thinking about it in that way. Okay, and then the last one that I really, really want to point out is that gratitude is an MVP, okay? Like the most valuable player, the most potent fuel in your life. It is literally the gateway to a better life. Let me illustrate to you what I mean by this. Gratitude rewrites your unconscious process. Stay with me, okay? When we are conscious, we're actually aware and really thinking in life. When we're unconscious, we are doing things in sort of an automatic way. Okay, the unconscious things that we do in our life, a lot of our life is run by these automatic ways of being and the beliefs that we have. Okay, root back to the conversation that I was telling you about the girl who couldn't see what was possible for her. We operate so often in this sort of unconscious state. It's the way that we breathe. It's the way that our whole body functions, like in this unconscious process. And then it's also how we naturally move through life. It's the default system that I was talking to you about. It's the way that we think that then brings forward the next thing. So gratitude helps you rewrite your subconscious mind. Okay, like your unconscious processes of what happened in your body. Let me walk you through this just a little bit deeper. We have something called an autonomic nervous system, and it is a network of nerves that are going throughout your body, and they control the unconscious process of your life. Your autonomic nervous system is the part of your nervous system that connects your brain to most of your internal organs. So you know how you feel when you feel nervous or when you feel worried, and you register it in different parts of your body, like your gut, or you start to sweat, or right? It's because that part is all connected, and that is your autonomic nervous system. This is literally the parts of your life that happen without you thinking about them. Breathing, your heart beating. Your autonomic nervous system is always active, even when you're asleep, and it's the key to your continued survival. So here's what's interesting. we have something called the limbic brain. It's a part of our brain, and it is the emotional seat of the body. The autonomic nervous system is housed in this part of the brain, the autonomic nervous system that is running your subconscious process. So going back to the chemicals that I was talking to you about that we become habitually used to feeling, this is all of a part of what all runs that. So we're in a constant loop of being able to access our system, the way that we function, in the same way. So when we feel gratitude, when we feel these higher states, it pulls us out of what is predictable and it shows us a different way. It can rewrite our system completely. It operates the way that we feel, and the way that we feel dictates what we think. Okay? And not just what we think like moment to moment, but in a subconscious way. We have more access to rewrite what those beliefs are because we are actually becoming more receptive in a different way, in being able to see things more clearly, in being able to dip into possibilities. We cannot get to something greater if we cannot think something greater. We cannot think something greater if we don't feel something greater. Is this connecting and making sense? Because I sit sometimes in awe and go, oh my word. So we don't have to beat ourselves up in our mind. All we have to do is teach ourselves how to feel different. And all of a sudden, all of the things that we're trying to do to make life easier, to run easier, happens easier. Incredible, right? So Abraham Lincoln said something. He said, most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Now, if I hadn't already walked you through a bunch of this, or if you had like no access to be thinking in this way, you might get a little bit ticked off by that statement. Like, whatever, you don't know my life. But isn't it amazing that we can see it from a completely different angle, and we can make up our mind to drop into gratitude and allowing that to be the pathway to high feeling states so that we can completely alter our life. Woo! I hope that you can see that. And then let me blow your mind just a little bit more about how amazing it is to be in this season of thanks, and the way that this season of thanks paves the way for a season of giving. Because when we really feel gratitude, it's the activator that I talked about. We want to give more, and then we actually receive double because it's overflowing, and then we want to give, and then when we're giving in the right spirit of giving, it feels so good to have given that's already like a gift back to us. So I hope that you can kind of just like plant that little seed, keep that with you through this holiday season. You really do have more power than you think you do when you drop into gratitude. My friend, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed that episode and that it rocked your world. It was a lot of information. So I really hope that if you loved parts of it, but you had a hard time grasping it, some parts of it, re-listen to it and let it just soak into every part of your flesh. It is such good information. And I love the idea that it is coming forward in a time when it can really propel the season that you're having and the experiences that you're having. If after listening to this episode, you were like, you know what, I really do need to drop in and figure out what she is talking about with heart coherence, reach out to me. I actually, P.S., am doing a huge sale for HeartSync around Black Friday. Okay, so put that little seed in the back of your pocket. Be ready, watch my Instagram, Like it is coming. And I really, the reason why I'm doing this, I'm giving you 50% off. Legit, that's huge. Like you'll never see that. You won't see that like any other time. Black Friday, I really want to give. And it's kind of like that time where we're going into that giving season too. And that just feels so good to me to make sure that you are really understanding that background to your life. And then it feeds you. It feeds you. And it's a course that is there for you whenever you have the time to access it. Literally, it's 6 lessons that are an hour and a half each. There's 19 meditations inside of the course. And if you buy it, like say you buy it now and you think, well, I have a really busy holiday season. It's not a good time for me to drop in. Well, it's an evergreen course. That means you can do the course whenever it's convenient to you. And what would be really cool is to start your new year off with this absolutely starting a fire in your life in all the best ways. Also, feel free to reach out to me for any questions that you have about HeartSync. I am more than happy to hop on a Zoom call with you or have like an audio chat exchange on Instagram, whatever it is to help you feel like you have all of your questions answered around HeartSync and that incredible program, the way that will help and bless your life. Another thing that I really want to remind you of going into the holiday season is that you can give back to this podcast and help this podcast continue to keep moving forward by shopping our Amazon link, which I don't know about you, but I literally got majority, I don't know about majority, but at least half of Christmas from Amazon. So if you're shopping Amazon as well, like I am, then remember to go to amazon.com/shop/my friend Misha. And it doesn't cost you more. It just gives back to the podcast. So we'd love it if you use our link at Amazon to shop and to give back. As always, my friend, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your journey. Your story and your evolution is so important to me. It's the reason that I do what I do. And we always literally love hearing from you. So if you have anything to share about your side of what you're experiencing through listening to this podcast, reach out and send it to us. We would love to share it with our listeners. And before we go, I want to share with you another quote. This is by Melody Beadle. It says, "Gratitude makes sense for our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow." Until next time, my friend.